fear, because we talked a lot during the conversation about my past, the wound and just this feeling of, I could be abandoned any minute. And there's usually a story, or there's something that, there's some sort of belief system that gives it power. What are, not necessarily connected to this fear in particular, but if you just walk us through, what is if we think of the inside out structure, then what is the building blocks of your belief system, and how has it shaped you a little bit before this whole rediscovery or reinventing process, and how does it look like today, and what is the shift?
Yeah, and this is what I have understood much more recently, actually, because it has just been there, and I haven't understood it so much before. This is something that I have been really deep diving into in general. But so when you are a child, you are influenced very much about what's around you.
Yeah.
So your childhood, and especially up to maybe 8 years old or something like that. But also before that, when you are in the womb. And of course, your parents, their childhood were, of course, influencing them. So there are some things that connected to my father, and some things connected to my mom. And so we can take the father track.
Yes.
And there are a couple of things that I think has shaped me. And one thing, this is a story that is a little bit funny now, but it has not always been funny for me. But so my grandfather, my father's father, he had always cute nicknames on his grandchildren. And I was the last one, so I was the youngest, and I'm the youngest in both threads, so to say. So I was always the little one, so to say. And it will. So this is totally open. My father, he wanted to have, and always thought that he should have a son. And so he got his first child, and it was a girl. It was my sister.
We have a lot of similarities in our lives.
Yeah. So, and that was very nice. We got the girl, first child, and then 3 years after, and I think actually when she came that I don't remember if it was when I came or when she came, or if it was on both, but it was like the gifts that he got was like a truck and all the typical boy toys.
Yeah, the gift that I remember my dad buying me is a yellow truck.
We have a red truck. This is so fun. But nevertheless, so back to my grandfather. So he had all these cute names, and I was reflecting on that a couple of months back and thinking about what was my name. And then I had a discussion with my kid's father. Do you remember what I had? What was my nickname? And he said, yeah. No, but it was Edberg. Edberg is a very famous tennis player.
Stefan
Edberg, yeah. And I said, yeah, but you know what? I started to play tennis when I was 10. So do you know what I had, what nickname did I have before that? And I don't know. No, it was the second one. It was a number. And it was not number 1, it was number 2. And I remember when I was a kid, I was wondering, why did everyone else have like cute names? So my sister, she had like Karin, den lilla Klara, and all of those. And I was wondering why I just had a number.
What was it in Swedish?
Anna den andra. So that thing, or I mean, that was subconscious in a way in the family. And then another thing that is a little bit connected is that so my sister, she was when she started school, that was a big thing, and and they were very proud, and she loved to come home after school and teach me. So she was the teacher and I was the student, so we were playing, and I loved that. It was really, really fun, and I was waiting for her because we were so close. We were doing all the stuff, and then suddenly she just went to school, and I was like left alone. Felt like it when you were 4 years old. But then I realized that, and she got so much like positive words around this, that she was teaching me, and I was learning and things. And then I realized now very recently that I have never had any. I don't remember when I learn to read and to calculate and things, because I have always known how to do that. And now I realize I learned that from my sister when I was 4. You know, and was just fluent in school. It was
just easy.
It was easy because I already knew it. And now I realize that it was kind of a big thing, being able to read and do all these things when I was so young.
Absolutely.
But it was so obvious for me, so it was not a thing. But what I remember is that I never got credit for it.
No.
My sister got all the credit for teaching me.
But not the student.
No. So I think, and I didn't feel bad about that or anything, but just reflecting upon how it was. And always so I think that is very much connected to my that I always want, because then when I started school, then I also got, and it went well, and when I got like good grades and things like that, then I got a lot of attention. So I was valued on my performance. Yeah. So for me then it was like, okay, I am valuable if I perform. And I have been such a performance girl and a competitive person, and I have had good grades always, and always wanting to perform, because that's how I got validation. So that has shaped me so much, really.
But I hear one more thing, actually. Performance is one thing, but I also hear in the subtext that you have built incredible strength, inner strength.
Yes.
Because you taught yourself to lean on yourself.
Yes.
More than anybody else. Which typically they say it's a first daughter syndrome, but
it's also the second one.
Yeah, it feels like, because that resonates a lot with me as well, because I think we both have, at least for many years, wielded that strength very much and maintained the facade of strength.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, and that has been something in my head always. Yeah, but I need to manage it. And this independent thing, it's super strong in me. I need to be independent. I will make sure that I can take care of myself, and that has really shown up in my life for so long. Yeah.
So now, I mean, just to recall what we've been talking, so you've been paying attention, and you've been paying attention to patterns.
Yes.
And you've now discovered, and you know that you have a pattern of being, extremely strong, pattern of performing, and leaving behind a very strong leadership role in a large organization where you are, of course, motivated to perform, to taking what might be perceived as a risk. To a lot of people, it might sound like a rebellious move. Like making a statement.
Oh, yes.
But I mean, I know for a fact that that's not what it is. But I think it's worthwhile to sort of circle back and touch on it again, because we talked about grief, you talked about wounds, you talked about triggers. But if we circle back to living life to full potential and understanding this, and if you were to maybe restate the change that you have made, what does it mean in this context?
Oh, wow. So that's a really good question. Not sure that this will be the thing that but I mean, it's no, but it's also to a little bit get rid of this performance thing. Of course, I need to perform in my current job as well.
Yes.
But it's more based on much more on my true passion.
Yeah.
And if we go back, because that was my father's side, then we have my mother's side, and also connection to my father always wanted a boy. You know, I have always been like in the sports and do all these things, and with but and then I think what I have also discovered a bit, that because I have another side as well.
Yes.
It's not which is very strong, and that is what's coming up more and more now. And that is more from my mom. Maybe she was. So my father was an engineer, and my mom, she was working with people, and this people person that she was is something that is strong inside of me as well. And here there are so many things, but one thing then is that my mom, she had that role in the family, and my sister as well, because she was studying social psychology, and she was going into that. She was dancing and all those stuff. So those spots, in a way, were already taken, and there was a gap in the family dynamic that was missing. So I feel that.
Right.
Yeah. I was doing the engineering, I was doing the math, I played soccer, I played tennis, I did all these sports things, I was really good at it as well. So then the family became complete.
Right. Complementary.
Exactly. And then back to my mom and the history there a bit is also something that I have been looking into a little bit more now and understanding a bit more, but not fully. But her history it was kind of tough. She's from Finland, or she's not longer with us. But my grandmother, it was this war where she lived, and so they had to run away. And my mom, she was the youngest of 5 siblings, so she was really young. And my grandmother's or my grandfather, which I have never met, he was not a nice person. And I have always heard that he was drinking, and he was not a nice person, and they had this war that they had to run away from, and that happened twice. And my mom was really, really, really young, a couple of years maybe. And I have tried to understand, okay, but why, what does it mean he was not nice? But I haven't got the answer, and we never talked about that when I was a child. But now, actually, recently, my father told me that, but your grandmother, she had to lock herself in sometimes.
Oh.
So just thinking about how those kids had it and what happened, and how were they influenced by this trauma, really strong trauma. And also my mom, maybe she was not because she was so young, but of course that has influenced her as well. And one thing that I remember very strongly from my childhood is that I saw that my mom was carrying something dark.
Right.
She never spoke about it, but I saw it and I sensed it. And I think I did more than the rest of the family due to my highly sensitive. And that was it was very scary for me. So it was something there that wasn't spoken about. It wasn't there but it was with my mom. She had something really dark. And that was so scary for me as a child. And I think she was also highly sensitive. And I think that has made me really utilizing this sensitivity. Because I feel, I mean, immediately I can just pass by people and I feel. And I step into a room and I immediately scan the room and know, okay, now here there is some conflict here or whatever it can be.
Tension.
Tension, exactly.
You can basically sense energy a bit in understanding the mood and energy. And
it's so obvious
it affects
to me.
You
it affects me, And I think that comes from mom. And that has, of course, also influenced me and also giving me advantage.
Right.
Super much in my leadership roles.
How would do you want to describe it a little bit? How?
No, but reading between the lines.
Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to be said, spoken out
so
clearly.
It makes you very good, and you're able to, then you use that to perform.
Yes, exactly. Because then what it has done very much is that I have been, okay, I feel this energy in the room.
Right.
I need to balance it out. So that was my role very, very long. Okay, I need to shift it.
But what happens to you when you do that? Do you drain or do you get energy back from it?
I think I normally drain, actually, to be honest.
So you're sort of using up.
Yeah, if I
some part of your capacity to neutralize.
Exactly. So then I get drained. But then the sensitivity also fills me with so much. I would never trade it for anything.
No, I understand.
And that is, and also in those deep connections and discussions, which I very easily get. That fills me. But in the balancing part, it drains me. And then also, I easily then see or feel or whatever you say, the issue, and I pinpoint it. And because sometimes it's obvious for me, I don't even think about it and I say it, and then I just go right on the really, really sore part of someone. And that can be a little bit scary.
But then what I understand, putting it all together, is that having done this, and you've done this for a long time, and you have in your life reached a place where you want to explore and you want to live differently. So, and I like to talk in degrees of freedom. So you just chose to give yourself certain degrees of freedom and not be attached to a role or organization or anything like that, to allow yourself space and room to play. Would that be a fair?
Oh, yes. It's exactly how it is.
Was it easy?
Yeah, when you come to that point, it's...
Was it an overnight call? Because I know a little bit more about it, so I'd like you to talk about it. How easy was it to decide?
No, but it was not easy, but it no, it grew on me. It's like, but then I started to open up myself to myself much more and really listening to myself and my feelings, and then it was no way to do something else.
Right.
This was the right thing to do.
It feels like you're stepping in more and more into yourself in that sense.
Yeah.
So security, we could say. How secure do you feel now?
No, I feel super secure.
What gives you the security?
Oh, that's a good question. But it's right. I mean, this is the right thing. This is my passion. It's this is my purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. But so cool. I've been a little bit curious because We speak mostly in English.
Yeah.
My Swedish is passable. And then I was reflecting after our conversation last time that, and I've talked about this with some people.
Yeah.
That even though, I come from India and I speak multiple languages, regional languages.
Yeah.
But from about 4.5 years old, or maybe, I've been talking in English, so I think in English. I'm curious to know, what does it look like when Anna is talking to herself?
In which language?
Yeah, is it words, first of all?
It's words, yes, it is. And I think it's Swedish, but sometimes it shifts to English, actually, depending on where I am. I'm so used to speak English at work, and working with so many different nationalities for a very long time. But of course, it's Swedish, and now my coach is in US, so that's why I think now it's more into English.
Right.
Actually, I lived in Germany for 1.5 years, and at that time I spoke German, and I think I actually dreamt in German. So it's really depending on where you are, but my native is Swedish, of course, so that's where it is. But
No, the reason I ask is, and this is very much from a curiosity point of view, what happens to stories or feelings or narratives when you move them from Swedish to English? Because now you shared some stories with me, and we don't have video right now, so a lot of others will not see it.
No.
But when you use the words in the language that it happened, in the language that you experienced it in, and when you're processing it in English, what happens to the rawness of it? Is it easier? Is it harder? I do not know, because I think from the time that I have had the wounds, I have been thinking in English, so I do not have regional words or languages for it.
No. That's a good question, but I don't even think about that. No.
Because I saw you feel differently when you talked about the nickname as a nickname.
Yeah.
Versus your face when you said Anna, Anna.
Yeah, exactly. But so that, because at that point in time, yes, it was the Swedish, and that name, it doesn't.
It's like a pinch.
Yeah, exactly. And if I say it if I translate it, it doesn't feel
right.
But the real name, it feels. Yeah.
So does it take longer to process when you do it in another language than the one that you experienced?
Yeah, maybe it does. Maybe it does. It's a good point. Yeah.
It was just a side quest.
Yeah, but it was a good one, because it's of course closer with my.
The reason I wonder is that
language.
we have now, and a lot of the world is in English, right? In some ways, even though I think in English, I do not have words for some of the emotions or feelings or situations in English. I do not know even today, for all that years I've spoken the language, I don't think I can express it in English.
No.
Then when we deal with all of these concepts of healing and therapeutic experiences, coaching, how does one tackle the process? Because it might feel like it's getting better in one language, but you can't really tell till the core is triggered.
No.
So I just wonder from that point of view, what would it look like? But now maybe you will observe, and then we will have some data points for later.
Yes.
But I mean, I do not have any references or examples like that for my triggers or value systems or anything like that. Mostly for me, this is very emotional, in the sense that I can only describe a certain mood or a certain weather or a certain situation and visuals, they only exist, the names, in regional languages. It doesn't even exist between my two state situation that I have back home. So forget English. Even two regional languages, there isn't words for it. So that is something that I've been curious about, and maybe something for us to revisit later, what happens to it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
The words are important.
Yeah.
Some words I feel I don't find in Swedish sometimes. But then it touches you really when you speak your native language.
Yeah. Yes. No, I just wonder, because my next question is a little bit about vulnerability, because now you've been so open and I think far more than even I've been in that sense, in terms of personal details and your life and your journey and people around you and what does it do to you and so on. If I go back to what we talked about, strength, because there is a really, and I have met, and people who have met Anna, I think you are an extremely formidable person. Your strength comes across first. But now in the last months that we have been spending time, when I see you first, I sense the softness in you before the, extremely invincible Anna, which is what I have felt before. If I were to sense your presence, I sense it in your softness today a lot more in the first experience.
That's nice. That's really good.
Yeah, it is, because it's a journey that I guess you have been on.
Oh yes.
So how has it been? Because what I guess, if we get into a little bit, what in your mind is the relation between strength and vulnerability, and what is strength, and how does the softness, the perception of strength, all of those things, what if you talk a little bit about it?
No, but for me, vulnerability is strength. Period. So that was easy. No, but it is, and it's so difficult. It's easy to say, it's difficult to do, and this is what I want to support people with, because I see it so clearly that it's hard, and when you don't allow yourself to be who you are and show that this is something that is difficult for you or whatever, and you just put up this mask, it becomes more difficult to move forward with what you would like to accomplish. So daring to be vulnerable, and I know this word has been used many times, but honestly I feel, when we talk about it, be real on it. Yeah, that's maybe I fully agree with you. It's probably a mic drop moment. Be real. Be honest in that moment. I fully agree with you. And I think vulnerability is the most beautiful thing I know, and it's really, so just show yourself. It doesn't mean that you're weak.
No.
It means that you're strong.
Yeah.
So I want to shift that.
That's absolutely wonderful. And I am extremely grateful that you chose to show yourself to me, and I got to see it, and I got to witness it and talk to you about it. Any parting words? Because what I would like for us to leave with now, we opened with a few words or few phrases of who Anna is, gently opening the door. Who are you, Anna, today?
Today I am much more secure in my balance between being the performer and being the the vulnerable person. And being full me, I mean,